Și-a vedia dar să sline Che sabiste de caripe ane Roma ne asate na vistre
Longono drome sa ciuru ripira Caucalomur mentulu ludiatova
In 1943, Chaya Stoiker and her family were sent to the Rossauer Lände prison in Vienna, and from there to the Auschwitz-Birkenau concentration camp. In the 1980s, she was one of the first members of the Roma and Sinti community to publish her memoirs. She also began to paint and draw, and through her art, she transmitted the painful events of her past. She fought against the prevailing ignorance about the Nazi crimes against Sinti and Roma. Ich habe Angst, dass Europa seine Vergangenheit vergisst und dass Auschwitz nur schläft. Antiziganistische Bedrohungen, Strategien und Aktionen besorgen mich zutiefst und machen mich sehr traurig. I'm afraid that Europe is forgetting its past and that Auschwitz is only sleeping. Anti-gypsyist, racist threats, policies and actions worry me greatly and make me very sad.
Ivan Biloshenko was raised in Dmitrivka village, Ukraine, where he graduated from school. During forced labor on railway constructions, he prevented the deportation of 40 young people for forced labor. After the Red Army entered Ukraine, he joined the army, eager to fight against Nazi regime, which killed close members of his family. He remained active in the promotion of education and remembrance. Мені довелося прожити 3 життя – голодомор, геноцид та фронт. Якщо ви запитаєте мене, що було найстрашніше, без вагань відповім – геноцид. Тому що ми завжди жили в очікуванні, що не якщо сьогодні, то завтра нас розстріляють. I had to live 3 lives – the Holodomor, the genocide and the war front. If you ask me, which was the worst, without hesitation, I would answer genocide. Because we always lived in the expectation that if not today, tomorrow we will be shot.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm here to welcome you to our event. Very warm welcome to Krakow and to this event, the International Conference for Passing on Memory for the Future of Holocaust, Remembrance and Education. My name is Raya Knight, and I'm going to be your moderator for this evening, guiding you through. On a very quick technical note, in case you haven't worked out already, I hope you have. At the entrance, you received a headset for translation. And we have simultaneous translation into English on channel 1, German on channel 3, Polish on channel 2, and Romanes on channel 4. I'm going to be joined here this evening on stage by Adrian, who has already opened the night for us, and he will be with us on the piano throughout the night. As we go from music to art and poetry, there are going to be numerous highlights throughout this evening dedicated to transferring memories into the future. The song that you heard just a moment ago was written for the occasion of the 75th Holocaust Memorial Day for the Sinti and Roma, and Adrian composed the song Na Besta as a tribute to all Sinti and Roma murdered under National Socialism. He first performed it at the commemorative event that was held in Auschwitz-Birkenau in 2019. And he was joined now on stage by a young choir of Sinti and Roma people who wrote the 3-verse text with him in Romanes. Let's give them another round of applause for that beautiful performance. We also just heard 2 quotes. And these quotes are also going to be accompanying us throughout the evening. The first quote that we heard was from Cheya Stoica, the renowned Romani artist and Holocaust survivor. And the quote that we just heard now before me was from Ivan Belashenko, Holocaust survivor and veteran of World War II. Now, before we proceed any further with the evening, I must warmly welcome many of our important guests for this evening. So, firstly, it is my honor to welcome the survivors of the Holocaust who join us tonight. It is a great honor to have you with us. I would especially like to welcome Christian Feil, who will also be on stage later. A big round of applause to him. We curated this evening of remembrance and the international conference inspired by Raymond, who said, "My message is for the young people." I want to welcome the hundreds of young people from around Europe who came here with the Dikinabista Youth Initiative. A warm welcome to you. It is also a great honor to welcome the organizers of the international commemorative ceremony of the 80th anniversary of the 2nd of August, the European Holocaust Memorial Day for the Sinti and Roma. I welcome Mr. Roman of the Central Council of German and Sinti Roma, and Roman Kiewakowski from the Association of Roma in Poland. Where are you? That's you. From Germany, hello. From Germany, I would also like to welcome several distinguished guests. Dr. Mehmet Dimagula, Mehmet Dimagula, Federal Government Commissioner against Antigypsyism and for the Life of Sinti and Roma. Ms. Natalie Pavlik, Federal Governor Commissioner for the National Minorities. Ms. Doreen Denstad, Turin Minister for Migration, Justice and Consumer Protection. She is also the state representative for antigypsyism in Thüringen. Ms. Mechterem Aras, President of the State Parliament of Baden-Württemberg, and Mr. Markus Rinspacker, Vice President of the Bavarian State Parliament. Welcome. From Bosnia and Herzegovina, I would like to welcome Mr. Marinko Cevara, Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives of the Parliamentary Assembly of Bosnia and Herzegovina. From Poland, warm welcome to you. From Poland, I would like to welcome Mr. Jan Waszyw. Uh-oh, I wrote this one down. Wait, especially as we're in Poland, I have to get it right. Mr. Jan Waszycki, Plenary of the Polish Minister of Foreign Affairs for Contact with the Jewish Diaspora. A very warm welcome to you. I would also like to extend a warm welcome to the members of the delegation of the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe, members of the national parliaments, representatives of the national organizations, governments, and diplomatic corps. And please let me thank, on behalf of the organizers, the Federal Foreign Office of Germany and the European Union and Council of Europe Joint Programme for their political and financial support to make this event and the whole week possible. A huge thank you to you. And of course, thank you to everybody else for joining too. So now we can move on to the artistic part of our program. The quotes that you heard earlier in this evening are part of an exhibition that you saw in the foyer, which has the stories of survivors with accompanying quotes, and we're very happy to open it here today. The exhibition is called Roma Heroes, and it is an exhibition of 23 portraits of Sinti and Roma Holocaust survivors, drawn by the young artist Emmanuel Barrica. The quotes will accompany us throughout the evening, and they are going to be read by various young people from Dick and Abista. But for now, I'm really happy to welcome to the stage Emmanuel Barrica. Join me on the sofa. Hello.
Hello. Hi. Hi, everyone.
Welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Beautiful exhibition.
Appreciate it.
Emmanuel, you're going to perform for us in a moment, creating a live portrait on stage of the Sinti hero, Christian Feil, who is here tonight. Where? Emmanuel, I would like you to tell us a little bit about the process behind this piece and how it feels for you as a young Roma artist to portray Christian tonight.
For me, the reason why I choose to draw Christian Feil is because for me, he's a hero. I think also for you guys, right? He's a hero who survived the Holocaust, and his story shows that people can be strong also in the darkest time. I believe people like him, it's really important to keep in our mind and not forget, because if we forget people like Christian Feil, Ceea Stoica, Raymond, then we also will forget about Auschwitz and Holocaust. All these things happen. Yeah.
Thank you. So we're going to give the stage to you now for your live performance, and we'd like to invite Christian onto the stage to join us. Hi. You okay to sit here? And the live portrait performance will be accompanied with piano from Adrian. Would you like some water? the signature, of course. Wow. Thank you, Emmanuel, and thank you, Christian, for sitting so still.
This is the gift for you. That's ein Geschenk für Sie, ja? Am Ende, Sie kann nehmen.
You can please join me on the sofa, because, and maybe also Emmanuel, you want to sit for a moment when you're done, because there's going to be a quote now on stage from another young person.
No,
Okay. These ones, yeah, let's get them. He wants the, thanks. So who is reading the quote? Will you please come on stage? And it is a quote from Christian.
Christian Pfeil was born in 1944 in the Lublin ghetto, where his family has been deported to in May 1940. Here, they were forced to perform forced labor by the SS and the police. Almost miraculously, Christian Pfeil and his closest relatives survived in audio. Many other members of his family, however, were murdered, some of them in the Auschwitz-Birkenau extermination camp. After liberation, the family returned to their hometown of Trier. Christian Pfeil built up a successful career as a restaurateur there, which has repeatedly overshadowed by right-wing extremist and racist attacks on the restaurants he ran. He has been committed to promoting international and local remembrance in Trier for many years. Ich möchte insbesondere jungen Menschen in aller Welt dazu aufrufen, die Erinnerung an uns Augenzeugen und das Gedenken in die Zukunft zu tragen. Ich hoffe, dass ihr euch mit Mut und Engagement für Demokratie und gegen Antiziganismus, Antisemitismus und alle Formen von Rassismus einsetzt. I would like to call on young people around the world in particular to carry the memories of us eyewitnesses and the remembrance into the future. I hope that you will stand up for democracy and against antigypsyism, anti-Semitism, and all forms of racism with courage and commitment.
And now, because we're keeping you on the stage even longer, we're going to invite David Rosenberg to join us. He is a young Jewish Roma activist from Germany, and he's going to have a brief conversation with Christian about your life before we're very lucky to hear a song from Christian. So, we're going to leave the stage to you. That's okay.
Hallo Herr Christian Pfeil, es ist uns eine Ehre, dass Sie heute bei uns sein können. Und ich möchte Ihnen wirklich sagen, dass jetzt gerade in aktuellen Zeiten, in denen wir kommen jetzt zu auf den 2. August und wir beschäftigen uns mit der Geschichte und mit dem Genozid, der passiert ist. Und Sie sind ein Beispiel für lebende Geschichte, weil Sie sind einer der wenigen, der noch darüber erzählen kann. Geben Sie uns gerne ein Beispiel daraus.
Ja, mein Name ist Christian Pfeil, komme aus Deutschland, bin ein deutscher Sinto, wurde in Lublin hier in Polen im Ghetto geboren. Meine ganze Familie ist damals deportiert worden von Deutschland aus nach Polen. Wir haben 5 Jahre in verschiedenen Lagern hier, waren wir inhaftiert. Viele meiner Familienangehörigen sind leider verstorben und vergast worden. Aber Gott sei Dank konnte die engste Familie diesen Holocaust überleben und wir sind wieder nach Deutschland gegangen. Ja, Deutschland. Ich habe oft meinen Vater gefragt, warum er wieder nach Deutschland, in das Täterland, zurückgegangen ist. Und er hat dann zu mir gesagt, Christian, das ist unsere Heimat und wir sprechen nur Deutsch, also gehen wir wieder zurück in unsere Heimat. Was ich damals als junger Mensch nicht verstehen konnte, heute kann ich es verstehen. Ja, und ich freue mich natürlich heute hier zu sitzen und meine Geschichte euch zu erzählen.
Das freut uns wirklich sehr zu hören, wenn wir werden auch noch später, werden wir die Gelegenheit haben, von Ihnen ein ganz schönes Lied zu hören. Was sind Ihre Gefühle und Ihre Meinung, was ist die Message, quasi die Botschaft hinter diesem Lied?
Ja, dieses Lied, das ich 1991 geschrieben habe, hat mir natürlich sehr viele Freude gemacht, aber hat auch mein ganzes Leben verändert. Nachdem ich dieses Lied öffentlich gesungen habe und es im deutschen Fernsehen gezeigt wurde, fing der Telefonterror an und man hat mich bedroht auf der Bühne, man würde mich umbringen und alles Mögliche ist passiert und ich habe natürlich weitergesungen und habe auch dieses Lied weitergesungen. Und irgendwann, ich war damals Gastwirt, habe ein großes Restaurant geführt und dann haben die Rechtsradikalen mein Lokal zweimal hintereinander kaputt gemacht. Total kaputt gemacht. Alles war nicht mehr zu gebrauchen. Und man hat mich bedroht und alles Mögliche. Ich konnte auch nicht mehr auf die Straßen gehen, hat mich nachts nicht mehr getraut, rauszugehen. Also es war ganz schlimm. Und der zweite Anschlag war noch schlimmer und da haben sie alles kaputtgeschlagen und dann habe ich die Karriere als Gastronom aufgegeben. Es war nicht sehr schön, wegen einem Lied, das ich geschrieben habe, um meine Wut, mein Kummer zu erzählen und dass andere Leute das nicht verstehen und mir dann sowas antun. Das habe ich lange nicht begriffen.
Und heute sind Sie trotzdem hier. Sie sind ein Beispiel für lebenden Widerstand. Was ist Ihre Motivation, weiterzumachen?
Ja, seit 20 Jahren engagiere ich mich dafür und ich bin sehr froh, dass ich immer eine Bühne bekomme und meine Geschichte zu erzählen. Es ist unheimlich wichtig, dass die Mehrheitsgesellschaft über das Leid der Sinti und Roma, die fast 500.000 Leben gekostet hat, zu berichten. Nämlich die meisten oder viele Leute wissen nicht, die wissen zwar, dass 6 Millionen Juden umgebracht worden sind und vergast worden, aber 500.000 Sinti und Roma, das wissen die wenigsten Leute. Und ich bin sehr froh, dass ich meine Geschichte und die Geschichte der Sinti und Roma immer wieder erzählen kann.
Ja, wie gesagt, ich bin 28 Jahre alt und bei uns ist es oft halt, wie Sie es auch erwähnt haben, Schulunterricht. Wir lernen über die 6 Millionen jüdischen Opfer, aber wir reden wenig über die 500.000, die Sinti und Roma verstorben sind. Und mit zunehmender Zeit wird es natürlich dann auch immer wenige Überlebende geben, die daraus sprechen können. Jetzt ist meine Frage an Sie, wie müssen wir jetzt an die Jugend herangehen und herantreten, dass wir auch für die künftigen Generationen darauf aufmerksam machen können?
Ja, ich freue mich immer, wenn ich mit der Jugend sprechen darf. Und ich freue mich für übermorgen wieder mit der Jugend diskutieren zu können. Vor 2 Jahren habe ich das auch wieder gemacht und das hat mir unheimlich gut getan. Und es ist unheimlich wichtig, der Jugend die Geschichte des Holocaust zu erklären. Und ich finde, es ist auch sehr wichtig, dass Jugend mal ein Konzentrationslager und ein Vernichtungslager besichtigen, um zu sehen, wie es möglich war, so viele Menschen umzubringen. Man kann es sich eigentlich ja nie vorstellen. Diese Zahl ist unvorstellbar. Also 6 Millionen und noch 500.000 Sinti und Roma und. Es ist fast unmöglich, sowas sich vorzustellen. Und man muss der Jugend das klar machen, man muss es immer wieder erzählen, wie das war und warum und weswegen. Und ich hoffe, dass die Jugend es begreift und wir nie mehr wieder in solch eine Situation kommen. Aber Jugend aufklären, das ist wichtig. In den Schulen wird so viel wenig darüber erzählt. Und ich ärgere mich immer, wenn ich mit der Jugend spreche und sie nicht gut informiert sind.
Auf jeden Fall Sinti, Roma, Juden, Gewerkschafter, Politiktätige, das sind alles Opfergruppen, die es damals gegeben hat. Und mit ihrer Arbeit und mit der Arbeit von den Personen, die auch hier anwesend sind in diesem Raum, werden wir dafür sorgen, dass das nicht vergessen wird. Vielen Dank, dass Sie heute zu uns gesprochen haben.
Danke Ihnen auch.
I would like to thank Christian on behalf of all of us for sharing his story. He will also sing for us later. First, we're going to go to our next musical part of the evening. If that's all right for you guys, it will be about 20 minutes. Yeah? 5 minutes. Could you do it after 20 minutes? Is that fine? Yeah? Perfect. Brilliant. So, my cards are just about going round. Our next musical part of the evening is going to be a musical reading and a short set from the musicians Harry Stoiker, Claudius Jelinek, and Konstanz Breitebner. And before they come and perform for us, in order to most enjoy the music, it's recommended that you remove your translation headphones. And now we're going to allow the stage to be slightly transformed so that they can come and set up for their musical set.
Good evening. Lasci Racci. Guten Abend. Claudius, Harry und ich, wir kommen aus Wien, wir leben da und unsere Geschichte beginnt eben dort. Our story begins in Vienna, where we come from, Claudius, Harry and me. Earlier this year, Harry and his family got a message that there was a booklet with poems written by his father, Johann Mongo Stoiker. The family didn't know anything about it, and spontaneously Harry said, no, my father never wrote poems. But then they sent photographs and read the first lines of the poem, of one of the poems, and all of a sudden, Harry was sure this is written by my father. These were the lines he'd used to say very often throughout his whole life. So the story behind this is Mongo was born 1929 and was imprisoned together with his whole family in the camp of Buchenwald. He was very young at that time. In the year from 1944 to 1945, he started to write poems and made little drawings of this horrible, terroristic world around him. We can hardly imagine how he came through it with it. You know, even to get the paper, to get the pencil, and to draw was risking your life. Shortly before liberation, a lot of prisoners were sent on the death march. One man who stayed in the camp years later told there was a young Roma boy and he exchanged a little booklet, a piece of art, for an extra portion of food in order to survive the death march. And so this little booklet started a journey. It was in private hands first, then it was donated to a museum in Belgium, and then it became part of an exhibition about the Holocaust and went to London. And finally, it came to the Holocaust Memorial Day Trust organization there. 2013, Mongo Johann Stoiker was tracked down as the author, and it took another 10 years until an assistant found Mongo's family in Vienna and contacted Harry and his sisters. They decided that the booklet should stay in London and be safely and publicly shown to everybody. So the circle closes when we know that Harry, many years ago, he didn't even know anything about the poems of his father, but he wrote the song for his daddy. If love is the strongest natural soothing painkiller available to us humans, then memory and artistic recording of what has happened is possibly the best, if not the only objection to horrible, inhuman regimes like Nazi Deutschland, and to finally defeat it. In these poems, Mongo Stoiker retained an incorruptible clarity in what he recorded. His gaze was and remained clear, and this is why we can see with his eyes, look after him, even if we would often like to close our eyes on it. Let us take an example from this. Let us take courage from it. His courage, ours. We were still in bed. In dead of night this whistle blew, and all at once our sleep was through. Come on, boys, wash now like a fish, then to our tables we must rush. We sit there waiting for our share, such misery. Our plates are bare. The smallest morsel of stale bread is all we get when we are fed. We've hardly eaten, then we're told we must go out now in the cold. As we rush quickly through the door to work, the capo shouts once more, "This has to be some dream, I feel. This cursed life where time stands still." Have you been to Buchenwald? The place that is so very cold. You come here as a citizen. You're just a prisoner to them. Now you go into the changing hut as fear is rising through your gut. Your clothes are taken from your back, and in return you're dressed in rags. A huge man tells you what to do, straight to the washroom. Off with you. Your hair is beautiful and long. They shave it off. They say it's wrong. And now you go into your block. There isn't even room to sit. From over there your friend calls you. He once was strong and fine. It's true, but now, my good friend, dear old Klaus, you look just like a drowning mouse. Oh, Klaus, my friend, to you I say, we will go free from here someday. Wailing sirens fill the air. We've been attacked once more, I fear. The first bomb fell from overhead, and then into the woods we fled. The camp guards wildly running round, fearing the guns would shoot them down. Oh, such terror, such a dread. Up in the quarry, many dead. The firefighters on the rooftops have holes blown in their heads from gunshots. And then a loud hooray! At last, the air raids over. It has passed. Warst du im Lager Buchenwald? Warst du im Lager Buchenwald? Da oben ist es gar so kalt. Du kamst hier rein als Zivilist. In 5 Minuten Häftling bist. Nun kamst du rein in Kleidungsraum. In Angst kriegst du im Mund Schaum. Die gute Kleidung gibst du weg. Und dann kriegst du einen großen Dreck. Da steht ein Mann für dich wie ein Baum und sagt nun, komm in Waschraum. Die schönen langen Haare hast, die Glatze aber besser passt. Nun kamst du rein in deinen Block und setzt dich hin auf einen Flock. Da ruft dich dein Freund von weitem an. Zuerst war er ein feiner Mann und jetzt du, alter Freundchen Klaus, du aussiehst wie eine nasse Maus. Ach, alter, guter Freundchen Klaus, wir kommen doch noch einmal raus. song for my daddy. Thank you. Harry Stoica. Adieu. Thank you. He's busy doing other things. Is another quote accompanied by music from Adrian. We have a quote from one of our young people from Dikenabista. So, do you know who you are? Are you ready? Yes, amazing. And following that, we will have I'll come back.
Partisan, writer, and activist Slobodan Berberski joined the Communist Party of Yugoslavia in 1936, the reason why he was arrested and imprisoned. After he escaped from the jail, he joined a partisan detachment. After the war, he became a writer and served as president of the Belgrade Roma Association. He was one of the initiators of the First World Roma Congress. Zar zaboravljamo one koji su imali hrabrosti da se iskažu kao Romi, a borili su se za revoluciju? Nisam ja jedini Rom borac od 1941. godine. ima i drugih Roma, narodnih heroja. I zato je moj odgovor jesam. Ili sam Rom, ili nisam ništa. Do we forget those who had the courage to call themselves Roma and fight for the revolution? I'm not the only Roma fighter from 1941. There are other national heroes from among the Roma ranks. And that is why my answer is yes. Either I am Roma or I'm nothing.
And now we are going to give the stage back to Christian Feil, who is going to perform his song for us, Nie wieder. The stage is yours.
Sozial, nicht arisch, Zigeuner, gar gedanle menge Gole, und ananmen, an die Lagra, Kove hieß an Hitlers Kro, Fulo Ziro, Jon Maran, But von Mare Menche, Kola Hitler, Engre Hegaje. Noch nicht rahe, keine Kara, Sinti und Roma, aber gut, entrespes nicht. Kennte Mariaka und Capre und die Genner und Hunena, ho Krennleballe mit Mensa. Groß Deutschland, Heil Hitler, nie wieder, nie wieder. Ma so venna, mehr Hunderi krass lauter Kettni, nu Balle ham soles Karela. Jonas die Krenit mit Mensa ho Jonke Männer, me ham nina Mensche und Kamaji will. Vor Maru bisla Jeepen, und die krass mehr lauter Kettne, das Leno warst. Mehr Jiva, nicht Kokes Gahai, o Baro Devil Kre, Devil Kawaziro, nicht Buddha Bale. Groß Deutschland, Heil Hitler, nie wieder, nie wieder.
Everything I have in my script now seems pointless following this song because I'm absolutely speechless. But I will carry on. Passing on memories means listening to the voices of survivors, but also giving space to younger generations, their way of honoring, sharing stories, and carrying on memories. Which leads me to our next guest this evening. Lovana Weiss is a Sintezer from the Netherlands, and her writing is based on and inspired by the stories her grandfather told her, who is also here tonight. Welcome, Jacobus Gerardus Weiss, wherever you are. Welcome. Liavana's work looks at the stories of her family's persecution, their survival during the Sinti and Roma Holocaust. Liavana, welcome to the stage.
I interviewed my papo, which means grandfather in our language, about the war. He never talked about it. I never knew. I never knew that Sinti and Roma had to wear brown triangles instead of yellow stars. I never knew how important it was to keep moving. I never knew that my family was traveling through Germany when the war started, that they split up the trailer camp to avoid getting caught. One part of the camp disappeared and never came back. The other part fled to the Netherlands and ended up in the orchestra pit of Circus Bottini. I never knew that the Nazis came to take my family, that they had to go to Auschwitz. I never knew that the Bottini circus director lied, that he told the Nazis he needed them, that they still had to perform 6 more shows. I never knew that after the 4th show, a Sturmbahnführer, a Nazi, came by. He told my family they were not waiting for the shows to be over. They would come and get them the next morning. The next day, the Nazis took the horses and the trailers, but not my family. My family were long gone. That's why it was so important to keep moving. I never knew that my family traveled until the war was over. I never knew it was because of the Sturmbahnführer who loved our music so much. That's how they survived the war, because of our music. I asked my tata, which means father in our language, about the war. He never talked about it. I never knew. I picked up bits and pieces, but how does a child really understand what war is? I always felt different though. Tata, why do they call me gypsy? I asked him. You always say Sinti, right? I never saw myself in any of the history books. Tata, why do we know so little about the Sinti and Roma in the war? I asked him. Did they forget about us? I never knew that on May 16th of 1944, there was a so-called gypsy raid. I never knew all of the Sinti and Roma in the Netherlands were arrested and taken to Kamp Westerbork, including my family. One part of my family was on a train heading to Camp Westerbork, above ground. The other part of my family was hiding in a bus they had buried somewhere in The Hague, underground. I never knew that my Purumami, which means great-grandmother in our language, was 11 at that time. She was a great tap dancer and had a little pet monkey on a leash. Twice a day, she would go outside to perform. She danced on a few wooden boards she carried herself. Her nephew went around the crowd and collected money in his hat. After half an hour, they had to go, or else they would get caught by the Nazis. That's why it was so important to keep moving. My Purumami earned enough money to support the entire family. I never knew that my family hid in a bus until the war was over. I never knew it was because of my Purumami who could tap dance. That's how they survived the war, because of her dancing. I never knew that when the war was over, They waited for the Sinti and Roma to return. But most of them never came back. And those who did were not the same. I never knew that my papo, which means grandfather in our language, had a friend back then. It was a Steinbach kid, he said. His mother had a number tattooed on her arm and a Z for Zigeuner, gypsy. She showed him many times. My papo told me that my family was always afraid. Afraid of getting caught. Afraid of being taken away. Afraid of never coming back. My family literally went underground, in a bus. With a bit of dirt over it, you couldn't see a thing. They only came out to get food. No windows, no daylight, no sound. I interviewed my papo, which means grandfather in our language, about the war. The world was a dangerous place, he said, and it has gone from bad to worse. The fear, it passes on, from generation to generation. The fear, I have it too. It's like a gift you can't return. At school, the kids always called me names, and they would put notes on my chair. On the playground, I wasn't allowed to play with any of them, except in music class, where I was forced to play with them. In Holland, there is a song called Once There Was a Gypsy Girl. All alone, I had to sit on the ground in the middle of the classroom. The other kids stood there, in a large circle around me, looking down on me, singing, Once there was a gypsy girl crying on a stone, crying, crying, and she was all alone. I learned at a young age to blend in, to avoid standing out from the crowd. Maybe they would forget I was there. Maybe they would forget I even existed. I learned at a young age to never say that I am a Sinti. If they ask, where are you from? I always say, my mother is Dutch and my father is foreign. If they ask, which country do you come from? I always say that we don't have one. If they ask, but how does that work? I always change the subject, just because I was afraid. Lately, I am afraid. Afraid that there will be another war. Afraid that I will get caught. Afraid that I will be taken away. Afraid that I will never come back. I don't have a bus to bury somewhere in The Hague. I only have a drawer under my bed where I keep my shoes. If the war starts tomorrow, I think I would hide in there. With the blanket over it, you couldn't see a thing. I would only come out to get food. No windows, no daylight, no sound. I interviewed my papo, which means grandfather in our language, about the war. He never talked about it. I never knew. I never knew that Sinti and Roma had to wear brown triangles instead of yellow stars. I never knew how important it was to keep moving. I never knew that my family ended up with Circus Bottini. I never knew that my family was hiding in a bus underground somewhere in The Hague. I never knew my family had to go to Westerbork. I never knew that my family had to go to Auschwitz. I never knew some of them never returned. I never knew the rest of them were always afraid it would happen again. I never knew any of it. I never knew. Now I know. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanna. Next on stage, we have our next quote.
Mon devoir était de rejoindre la résistance pour finir le combat. J'ai côtoyé la mort bien souvent. Je sais que j'étais sur la liste de ceux qui ont terminé leur vie à Auschwitz.
My duty was to join the resistance. and finish the fight. I was close to this many times. I know that I was on the list of those who were to have ended their life in Auschwitz.
How are you all doing out there? Good? Fine? I know we're running over schedule a bit, but we have a few more acts in our program before you can go to the wine. I'm now going to be joined on stage by Karolina Mirga and Elaine Mirkatosh. Here we go. Welcome. Would you like to sit on this nice sofa? So together they are going to be honouring the late Raymond Gumin, the Holocaust survivor and member of the French resistance, whose quote we just heard. And 5 years ago, Raymond spoke on this exact stage at the conference, Is Auschwitz Only Sleeping? Raymond was a crucial part of the remembrance events and especially the youth initiative Dichinabista. Karolina, which one of you is Karolina? You're Karolina, hello. Welcome to the stage. You've been part of Dichinabista for a long time now.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about Raymond?
Of course, I mean, the most amazing thing about Raymond, I had the actually chance to be there the first time he came to the Dichinabista, and I think the thing which actually hit you straight away when you met Raymond was that in this petite body, it was this giant energy, the energy of the huge energy of courage, which actually this was the biggest message I took always from Raymond, you know, that you have to stand up for whatever you believe in and what is right, that what is legal, it doesn't mean it's moral. And that you need to be proud of who you are and stand up for it. And actually him, also this another giant courage in him was the love of life. I think he had this kind of joyful, absolutely amazing personality that just took you over. So every time he came to Dichinabista, he was staying with us in the student hotel in Jacek, you know, being with us on every breakfast, every lunch, and every dinner, like actually spending all the time, every evenings, you know, he was rolling his cigarettes in his hat and his oversized suit and being there for us, you know. So he was like so approachable also for us. It was amazing. And another of his giant qualities in this petite body was, I think, the giant love for life. And I think it was visible everywhere. And I think about Raymond, him having his big family, building his home at the ground where it used to be the camp. So like buying the land there and building there, and I think this was so inspiring. So, you know, you see him like just a regular tiny guy, you know, with all these wrinkles and stuff, but with such a love of life, such a courage, and such a message of resistance, of always putting his hand up and shouting resistance. So I think this was one of the most inspiring things about him.
Thank you.
Yes.
Elaine, what was your connection to Raymond?
My relation?
You've been involved with Dichinabista for a while, or?
The first time that I met Raymond Gumin, it was 15 years ago. I was living in Paris and I was part of La Voix de Rome with Samir Millet. Samir Millet, I translate for us now. And we heard about Raymond and we went to his house and he started to tell his history to us. It was really exciting. And he taught me the song that I will sing today.
Yeah, this is what I wanted to ask you. What is the story behind this song that you're going to perform for us? Is this... What is the song?
Yeah, the song was made by his sister after the first time that he managed to escape to a concentration camp, Linas-Montlhéry. It was the camp in France. So it's a song made during when she was on the concentration camp, but it's not sad. So it's good what you said, because Raymond Gumin told us all the stories, but with many hopeness. Exactly. He was really brave, and this song is the same. It's not a sad song, because at this time his sister was really happy because he managed to escape to the camp. Yeah.
Thank you. So we're such a pleasure to be able to hear this song tonight. The stage is yours. Where is the singing mic? Here it is. I'm going to give you this microphone for singing. Is this one? Is it the right height? Yes.
Hallo? Ja. Ce qu'aucun homme n'a pu faire, un gamin de 15 ans l'a montré, que ce n'était pas une affaire de se sauver tout étant enchaîné. C'était pour une bagatelle qu'on l'avait mis au KGB, mais sa colère en était telle que le soir il est parti de Linas-Montlhéry. Les gendarmes se mirent à ses trousses, mais ils n'ont pas pu le rattraper. Ils sont revenus tous bredouilles, le chef avait l'air d'une andouille. Et si Dieu le veut bien, c'est pas aujourd'hui ni demain que nous reverrons notre frangin. Thank you. I put here?
We're now going to have another brief quote from one of our young people.
Mon témoignage est pour la jeunesse. Ne laissez pas votre avenir entre les mains des guignols. Il faut résister. Il faut résister aux discriminations, au racisme, aux expulsions violentes dont sont victimes les Roms, les voyageurs dans tous les pays d'Europe. Nous, les anciens, nous avons allumé la flamme. Maintenant, c'est aux jeunes de l'alimenter et de la faire grandir pour que nous soyons plus forts. Les jeunes, levez-vous, restez debout, jamais à genoux.
My testimony is for young people. Don't leave your future in the hand of the puppets. You must resist. We must resist the discrimination, the racism and the violent expulsion to which Roma and voyageurs are subject in every country in Europe. We, the elders, have lit the flame. Now it's up to the young people to keep it alive and make it grow so we can be stronger. Young people, stand up. Stay on your feet, never on your knees.
So not only those of you who had the pleasure and honor to meet Raymond and listen to his testimony might recognize that last quote, because it is also the title of this year's conference. My testimony is for the young people, passing on memory for the future of Holocaust remembrance and education. To learn more about Raymond, his life before, during, and after his persecution under National Socialism, his effort for remembrance and his fight against discrimination, you can visit the exhibition in the foyer today and tomorrow. And now, it is with great pleasure that I give the stage over to Adrian for the last time tonight for our final song of the evening, which is a new composition that he has written especially for us tonight.
Ich habe Angst, dass Europa seine Vergangenheit vergisst und dass Auschwitz nur schläft. Saß man drin 3 Jahre, o Holodomor, o Genocido, tai o Maripen, Cana pucesma, manso saso mainaso, to live 3 lives, the Holodomor, the genocide, ask me which was worst, without hesitation, I would answer genocide. Izvoza Roma ima narodnih heroja i zato je moj odgovor jesam ili nisam, ili sam Rom ili nisam ništa. So close to death many times, many times, many times. Resist, resist, but I did resist. Young people should stand up. On your feet, never on your knees. Résistance.
Yeah, if you want. Thank you. Thank you, Adrian, and thank you to all of our wonderful, talented array of contributors tonight. With this, we close the program. I know that the conference starts tomorrow at 9:30, but if you would like to stay a bit longer and have a drink and look at the exhibition, feel very invited. Before we send you all out, we're going to have a brief thank you from the organizers, who are going to join me now on stage. Welcome on stage, guys. They made this evening happen. Welcome back. Maybe this one? Here we go.
At the very end, I would like to say a big thank you to Adrian and Raya hosting this beautiful evening. Thank you, Raya, for all your efforts.
Thanks. I thought these were for someone else. That's very nice. Thank you.
Well, we fooled you.
Okay. Thank you.
And thank you as well, Adrian, only for today, composing one piece and organizing a whole group. Thank you very much. And thank you to all contributions to speeches, songs, performances. Thank you for all those involved. We will give you your flowers individually.
And thank you to Rebecca for curating and creating this evening together. And it's a big thank you for the three of you, but for all the contributors and for the audience, because this is an evening that has never been performed and put on stage. It's something for the first time, and I think it takes a lot of courage, and I think it's just also a lot of beauty and strength and inspiration that comes from this day and hopefully also for the next day. Thank you so much for this.
And now I'm back to my script to say, finally, we invite you very much to join us tomorrow at 9:30 here in the Auditorium Maxim for the beginning of the conference. My testimony is for the young people, and we hope to see you there. But for now, we wish you a very good night.